The journey of exploration continues with Moana II. I'm Ronald Young Jr., and I'm leaving the theater. All right, this is Ronald, and I am leaving the theater after seeing Moana II. Moana II, written by Jared Bush and Dana Ledoux Miller, directed by David Derrick Jr., Jason Hand, and Dana Ledoux Miller, starring Auli'i Cravalho, Dwayne Johnson, Tumeuera Morrison, Nicole Scherzinger, Rose Matafeo, David Fane, and Alan Tudyk. And per usual, for a complete cast listing, you can check the link in our show notes. It is just me today, once again, the most lonely year ever when it comes to reviewing films here on Leaving the Theater. Actually, it's not been so bad. I don't know. Y'all tell me. What do you think? Am I better with a guest without? Who knows? Who could ever know? Matter of fact, don't answer that. Don't give me any feedback. Ever. Especially if it's negative, unless it's positive, then give me, all right, I'm on a spiral. Seems to be a common theme. Anyway, Moana, this is the sequel to Moana 2 is the sequel to Moana, which was always confusing for me because they came out with Moana, then they were like, hey, we're gonna do Moana, we're gonna do a series because it was wildly popular with children and everyone liked it. Everyone wanted to be Moana for Halloween. Very popular series. People loved The Rock. You're Welcome was a popular song. The music was good. It was done by Lin-Manuel Miranda when he was basically at his hottest in terms of people wanting to book him and use him for shows. So music was good, graphics were good. Of course, it's Disney animation. The kids loved it. Merchandising was there, all of that. So they say, hey, we're going to make a series. They start working on the series, and in the middle of the series, they also say, hey, we're going to make a live action Moana, which I am like, I don't understand why you're doing this so soon. In terms of, if I'm not mistaken, Moana, the live action series is supposed to come out either next year or 2026, and you just dropped Moana 2. This year, it's 2024, so it's 8 years after the first one, which is a little bit of a stretch between. 8 years isn't like a short time to have a sequel afterwards. I know there's been longer times. So they come out with Moana 2 this year, then the live action Moana only 8 years after the first. Now that feels very quick, especially knowing that Disney has been adapting a lot of its animated stuff into live action things. So it's not uncommon for that to happen. It's uncommon for it to be happening this fast. So they have this series. They decide to scrap the series and come back with Moana 2, which is this one, which is why there's so many directors listed. I listed 3 if you were listening. So for me, I walked into this movie being like, more Moana for some reason, and they're releasing it during Thanksgiving week, so it's a very easy, hey, I want to take my kids to do something outside of the house, or I want to send the kids to a movie type thing. It's very easy to do that. Although the people that loved Moana 8 years ago, if they were kids, they're going to be like solidly teenagers now, right? So I don't know how interested they are in seeing the sequel, maybe because it's growing up with them. I don't know. I'm going back and forth. I'm really talking a lot about the marketing. This is all what was going in my head. I'm talking about the marketing and production, to be honest, but this was all what was going in my head as I walked into the film saying, what is it that I'm about to get in this? And I didn't expect it to be great, but it was fine. The story continues because the first one is about Moana kind of wanting to set sail and, get out of this podunk town and see what else is out there in the world, which is, it's a story that we know, but it was done well and people liked it. I thought it was largely forgettable to me as a plot, but because I really I have to watch it again in order to really loop back and see what, I don't know, grabbed me about it. What were the best parts? I have to loop back and watch it again because largely I forgot it, but I know it's basically, hey, I'm trying to get out there and see the world. This is kind of more of the same. It's her going out there and saying, now we got to expand. I've been out there, I've seen things. Now I got to make connections because I found people. And it's kind of more of her getting over the hump of making these types of connections with other folks, which is a fine plot, but they don't give much more besides that. She goes out with a crew this time. She reconnects with Maui in a way where as a matter of fact, I don't think there's enough time spent with just Moana and Maui there's this kind of emotional beat that happens towards the end of the movie that kind of feels unearned, because I just don't see how, because we didn't spend enough time with them together in this movie, there was a way in which that he cared about Moana that I'm supposing carried on from the first movie, but just didn't feel like, because it feels like more of the same, it didn't necessarily emotionally resonate with me. It also the film starts with the kind of a television feel. So like, think about all of the animated movies you've seen that have become television shows. And Disney does this a lot. So they'll do a show and then it'll be like, what was that movie with Atlantis? They'll be like Atlantis, the movie, and then it'll be like Atlantis, the television show. They just get on adventure of the week. If I'm not mistaken, I think that exists. If it doesn't, trust me, pick another Disney property. They made a movie, and then if they made a television show, you'll notice that they water down the plot a lot. And this one started with that same watered down feel, i.e., what's going to happen? Oh no, life continues in the village. But there's going to be some central conflict, and now she's going to have to go on another journey, which is tough for sequels because it's like, what more story are we telling, especially in a universe where you started it off as a television series where I assumed there was going to be like an adventure of the week or maybe some sort of arc that surrounded this like one set of 8 to 12 episodes, but then ends there. And this like kind of splits the middle where there's some stuff that's happening where I'm just like, did she learn anything new? Did she get any new skills? What are we talking about here that isn't just kind of stuff that she learned in the first movie that she's doing in the second movie to kind of accomplish the same task? It was my same issue that I had with Inside Out 2, which is that the main characters are going on the exact same journey that they went on the first time. There's not like really a growth towards anything else, and there's not enough new characters for them to push it or explore in a different way. And even the new characters that are introduced, they're not given much to do except to kind of like be this Greek chorus or just stand by and watch what's happening in front of them. So that being said, it wasn't bad. Visually, it was great. I liked the music. I don't think there's any bops in this one. There's no We Don't Talk About Bruno in this one. There's nothing I'm walking away with in that case. And it's kind of hard when we're talking about how far I'll go was a bop. You're Welcome was a bop. Nothing like that in this one that I think. But that being said, it wasn't bad. I didn't leave being like, this is terrible. I love being on an island and like seeing island culture. And I think there's a lot of rich like Fiji history, like, or they're at least tapping into Fiji culture here, which I really appreciated. So with all that being said, I think it's right down the middle. I think it's a 3-star movie. Like, it was fine. I'd watch it again if it was on Disney Plus and I had literally nothing else to do and I'd already downloaded it and I was on a plane and I was like, oh no, I downloaded my own Moana II. I guess I'll go ahead and watch it. Yes, I would watch it again in those circumstances, but if there was something better, I'm probably just gonna go ahead and watch that. Hopefully I also downloaded Logan on the same app and I'll just watch that instead of I'm gonna rewatch something. But if you like Moana, the first one, and your kids liked it, especially if you have kids, they're going to be fine with this one. No one's going to watch this and be like, yo, that sucked. You know what I mean? It's going to be fine. I don't think anyone should be like coming with very strong opinions about this being bad. The one thing I will say is like, it's always hard for me to see The Rock's voice come out of Maui's body because especially when you watch it in the beginning, they don't match. For some reason, they don't. I don't know what it is. Like, and then further in the movie, I began to accept that Maui was The Rock, but there's just something about it that just feels still separate of these two characters. And probably it's because The Rock himself is such a character unto himself. So other than that, I mean, it's a 3-star movie. It's fine. You'll get what you pay for walking into this movie. I know they've set up for a third one already. I don't know what's going to happen with the live action one, but there is a future with a lot more Moana in it. So we'll see what happens. And they're releasing it on Thanksgiving. So I'm assuming it's going to make a lot of money. And with that, Leaving the Theater is a production of Oh It's Big Round Studios. I mixed this episode, and per usual, it's just me in these streets. This is a holiday week. I'm putting out this episode right after Thanksgiving, which means I worked over this weekend. If you were like, hey Ron, what'd you do this weekend? Yeah, I ate some food, I had some good time with family, but then I got back to work. Put this one out just for you. If that's important to you, if that means something to you, you should become a patron. Go to patreon.com/leavingthetheater or go to the link in our show notes. Show art from Heather Wilder. Theme music by the mysterious Breakmaster Cylinder. For more information about Moana 2, check out our show notes. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, or Threads at OItsBigRon. That's at OHITSBIGRON. You can find out more about this show and other Oh It's Big Ron Studios shows by following us on Instagram at Oh It's Big Ron Studios. Leaving the Theater will be back soon. Thanks for listening.